Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state
She's
categorically?
asking a question.
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a
question.
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. We are available. We post a new Dave versus MSM video every Tuesday morning by 10 a.m. on YouTube. Don't expect a notification from them, right? This channel is actively suppressed 24/7, which is why the go-to location for my content, my analysis, information you're not going to get from other sources is at davejanda.com. We post a new free video every Tuesday morning there at 9 a.m. We have all of our other content, free content as well as subscription content. Become part of our Freedom family, 30 cents a day, biggest bang for the buck. You will get information that we can go into far greater depth that we cannot go into on any social media platform or on the radio on that website. Try it for a month. We hope you become part of our Freedom family. From Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway seemed to be talking about right now. And he did this many decades ago. Said this many decades ago. Quote, "The first panacea for a mismanaged nation is inflation of the currency. The second is war. Both bring a temporary prosperity. Both bring a permanent ruin. But both are the refuge of political and economic opportunists." Globalist, deep state, New World Order crowd. He called it. So let's look at recent economic information. Let's title this video Bidenflation, Biden's Gas, and Biden's Wars, because they're all tied together, as we've outlined before. Dallas Fed plunges as respondents unleash unprecedented slam down of disastrous Biden administration. The Dallas Fed's manufacturing survey plunged to its lowest since May of 2020. This just happened in June. The survey was expected to rise modestly from minus 7.3 to minus 6.5, still minus. But it actually plunged when the real numbers came in to minus 17.7. New orders crashed into negative territory and employment weakened significantly. The comments from survey respondents, this from Zero Hedge, are perhaps most enlightening of the reality facing many businesses in America. Foreign dependence, cost inflation, overregulation, and Biden energy policies. Dallas Fed respondents' comments on the Biden administration seem to sum up how many Americans feel today. Quote, "We'll all be lucky to have a job with 2 more years of this disaster," end quote. Quote, "You cannot ignore the economic fundamentals leading to a likely recession, and the administration in Washington is either stubborn or as paralyzed as deer in the headlights," end quote. or bought and paid for by the globalist syndicate to cause ruin to our constitutional republic. Yeah, that's more like it. Quote, government overspending and transfer programs have inflated the money supply while resulting in unchecked corruption and waste. We will be paying that bill for generations, and what a colossal waste of resources and missed opportunities. Yeah, that's being kind. And then Jerome Powell, globalist, in charge of the Fed, group of independent bankers that's not part of the executive, legislative, or judicial branches of the government. Quote, inflation, remember Biden, inflation's all because of the war. Yeah, a war that he's pumped $59 billion of our taxpayer money into for weapons systems, humanitarian aid. No baby formula here in the United States, but he's sending money over to the Ukraine. Right, part of the globalist playbook. Inflation was high before Ukraine. Powell tosses Biden back under the bus. During the Senate hearing with Powell as a presenter on the economy, he was asked the question, quote, would you say that the war in Ukraine is the primary driver of inflation in America? Quote. Powell's response, quote, no, inflation was high certainly before the war in Ukraine broke out, end quote. Yeah. Meanwhile, they can't even hide the fraud government data on the economy. U.S., the Producers Manufacturing Index, plunges to a 2-year low amid, quote, remarkable drop in demand. Can you say stagflation? Meanwhile, don't you love paying over $5 a gallon for gas, or $7, $8 down the line, depending on where you live, for diesel? Yeah. And that's all Putin, according to Biden. Yeah. Biden blames Putin. Oh, now he's blaming refiners and gas station owners for record prices. Harry Truman, what? The buck stops here. He had that plaque on his desk. The buck stops here. Biden, the buck never stops here. Oh, no. Biden snubbed oil firms and met with offshore wind partnerships. So he's dumping all over big oil. And there gets brought to the White House. He doesn't even meet with them. He has Granholm, his Secretary of Energy, who is the former incompetent governor of the state of Michigan, who, as far as energy experience, I don't think she has even pumped her own gas in 30 years for her car. Biden snubbed oil firms and met with offshore wind partnership. Brings him in, doesn't talk to him, sends some dweebs in to talk to him, talking about wind power. CNN analyst suggests inflation is needed. So all that extra money you're spending on food and rent and clothing and gas and everything, it's needed according to these slime. To achieve what? Oh, the new green agenda. New green agenda. They're closing nuclear power plants that have zero carbon emissions around the country. 5 being decommissioned. They just did one here in Michigan, Palisades on the southwest side of Michigan. The inflation-stagflation crisis is immensely damaging to the average person with the threat, this is from Zero Hedge, with the threat of poverty and food shortages hanging over the majority of the population. But there are some people out there who see the crisis as a good thing, specifically for the green agenda and carbon taxation. CNN economic analyst Rana Fuhar, might as well call her Fubar, follows the bizarre line of thinking in an interview suggesting that inflation is needed in order to pave the way for a carbon credit-based economy. Here's what she said, quote, this is something that I think, unfortunately, no politician, particularly the Democrats, right now in advance of midterms or a presidential election, want to land on, which is some of the transitions to a kinder, gentler, I believe more stable, and ultimately more resilient economy are going to be inflationary in the short to medium term, all for a green new agenda. Now, in times gone by, when an industry is targeted, everybody shuts up because they don't want to be politically incorrect. Chevron's CEO slams political rhetoric in scorching letter to Biden. Chevron's CEO Mike Wirtz sent an open letter to Biden that probably started out closer to go F yourself. Here's what he said. Quote, addressing this situation requires thoughtful action and a willingness to work together, not political rhetoric. Your administration has largely sought to criticize and at times vilify our industry. Biden then comes in and says, we're gonna help the public and we're gonna remove the federal gas tax. 18 cents. 18 cents. What does that mean? MyShield products are EPA and FDA approved and are proven ready to help you, your family, and your community neutralize COVID, bacteria, viruses, spores, and fungi. The water-based alcohol-free hand sanitizer foam and disinfectants are safe for people, animals, and the environment. Application of the MyShield products has been confirmed by independent studies to provide persistent protection for 28 days on surfaces and for 4 hours on the skin with just one application with a very quick dry time. Check out MyShield products at OperationFreedomHealth.com. That's OperationFreedomHealth.com. An analyst, financial analyst, did this. Quote, if the federal gas tax was suspended for the rest of the summer, someone who drives 12,000 miles a year in a car that averages 22.8 miles per gallon would save $20. And he's going around saying, this is going to solve everything. Among the more actionable, impactful ideas the White House could have pursued, as opposed to this propaganda of 18 cents a gallon, regulatory changes, Jones Act waivers, which would allow general, less expensive foreign vessels to transport fuel between U.S. ports, and easing the renewable volume obligation. We have talked at length on our platform about the renewable identification numbers, which Congress passed, which actually has led to a huge increase in refining costs, pushed by the Biden administration. And, right? Started actually at the end of the Trump administration, but escalated during the Biden. Just dialing those down cuts the price of gas enormously. Meanwhile, they're closing 5 nuclear facilities in the United States, Biden administration. What? Pushing solar. Okay. So there was an analysis. Why nuclear beats solar power. Here we go. Nuclear plants have 20 times less cancer risk than solar plants. Nuclear promotes energy security. Nuclear yields a 30 times better return on energy invested than solar. Nuclear is 3.5 times more reliable than solar. Nuclear uses 18 times less material to build a plant. Nuclear uses 75 times less land to build a facility. Nuclear emits 4 times less carbon than solar. Nuclear produces 300 times less waste than solar. Nuclear has 3 times longer lifespan than solar. Nuclear can be built almost anywhere, and nuclear is cheaper. But nuclear is being ignored by the syndicate. Why? Because they don't want energy independence. They don't want, they want you destitute. They want our country to be thrown into reverse. And the single easiest way to do that is tax people, and inflation is a tax, and to suppress our energy independence and throw us back into the dark ages. So what's Biden doing? This coming month, he's going to Saudi Arabia to beg for oil. Wait, he shut down the Keystone Pipeline. He shut down other pipelines. He removed permits and leases for drilling domestically in Alaska, in the Gulf. He's put a clamp on oil production in this country, and he's going to Saudi Arabia. Good luck there. They won't even take his phone calls before. They're taking Putin's phone calls because they see the writing on the wall. Meanwhile, we have not just fuel shortages, and we're not just funding Biden's war that's a globalist-directed war to begin with. But domestically, try to fly somewhere. Huge cancellations. Huge cancellations. Huge delays. Why is that? Well, we have a pilot shortage. Why is that? Because of Biden's own mandate policies. Remember about this? Yeah. Many pilots said, I'm out. I'm going in private industry. I'm gone. Goodbye. I'm working for private jets companies. Many said, I'm retiring. Many took this, and guess what? Had adverse problems. And you wonder why? And then the airline industry says, wait. It's not just pilots. We've got a problem with the FAA. Yeah, their control systems, their control towers are understaffed. Why? For the same reason pilots took off. And aren't there because they're sick. Because of Biden's mandates. Look, Bidenflation, Biden's gas, Biden's wars are destroying what's left of this constitutional republic, and that's not incompetence. It's willful. The United States is the speed bump to the globalist-directed New World Order, one world government, one world currency. And the only way they can get there is destroying our republic. Now, you might think they're in the driver's seat. I don't. If you look at and listen to the way they're reacting and acting, they are not acting and reacting like they're winning. They're losing. And they know it, and they can feel it. And they're lashing out. How did we get them in a position where they're losing? Truth, facts, not shutting up, peacefully protesting, and educating and empowering as many people as we can. You see, what they did not count on was the power of the independent media, of which Operation Freedom is a component of. We provide the information that you can network and have been networking to anyone and everyone you know. And then they become empowered and educated. And because they become empowered, they become a problem for the deep state. And we have reached, and we have, I believe, gone beyond a breaking point, to the point where we will win this and are winning this. And it's going to become more obvious as the days and weeks and months go on. But we do not win this sitting on a couch. We do not win this shutting up. We do not win this by not peacefully protest. We need to peacefully protest. We need to out them. We need to hold their feet to the fire and continue to do so. And then our republic will be restored. And the deep state fears that to the nth degree. And they should. Because in our freedom-based society, the rule of law remains and is supreme. And when that's the case, then each and every one of them scum will be held accountable in a court of law. And that's what they fear. Good. Good. Because they will be held accountable in a court of law. And our country and our republic will be restored in spite of Biden's inflation, Biden's wars, and Biden's gas and hot air. Fact. You can join us 24/7 at DaveJanda.com. Become part of our freedom family. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.